What up, YouTube? Here with a review video for ROH Def before Dishonor, and I'm going to rate every match that happened on the card on a 5-star rating, and at the end of the video I'll give the whole event a rating out of a 1 to 10. And yeah, anyways, let's get to the reviewing part of the video. Let y'all know what went down at this pay-per-view event. The opening contest to start this event was for the ROH World title. Jonathan Gresham defending his ROH World title versus Claudio Castagnoli. Now, I was surprised that this was an opening match because it's for the world title, and it was a highly anticipated match between two high caliber wrestlers. And when you have a match like that, I mean, you expect it to be the main event, and it wasn't though. But opening contests are very important as well. That's what sets the momentum up for the rest of the event, and ain't no better opening match than a world title match between two technically sound wrestlers like Jonathan Gresham and Claudio Castagnoli to get the event steamrolling, right? And it was nothing less than I expected. It was a good back and forth match with both wrestlers countering each other and going hold for hold. It was not as long as I expected. It was like a 11-minute match between the two. When you have wrestlers like Jonathan Gresham and Claudio Castagnoli, and it's two different styles clashing in the ring. You got a submission expert and a powerhouse, and Castagnoli, he's a good submission wrestler as well. So when you have them two kind of styled wrestlers competing against one another, then you expect it to be, I don't want to say a drag out, I think that's the wrong word, but like more of a chess match, and that takes more time than like a 11-minute match like they had yesterday at the before Dishonor. And Claudio Castagnoli picked up the win. Y'all could go check out the highlights, check the footages out yourselves. But I'll let y'all know how the finish went. Castagnoli, y'all know like how every member at the Blackpool Combat Club likes to have their opponent on lock and go to town with them with like repeated elbows. Like that's how he had Jonathan Gresham, and then he hit his powerbomb finisher. Then he got the pin, and now Claudio Castagnoli is a new ROH World Champion. Now, this is his first world title. He's been wrestling for a long time now. He's a veteran. He's made his mark at ROH, former Tag Team Champion. He's only competed for the ROH World title once, which he failed. And then now, since he came back to AEW/ROH, and he got the chance to become ROH World Champion, and he did that at Debb before Dishonor yesterday. He hasn't won the world title at WWE. He had a good long run with the WWE. He won all the mid-card titles, the tag team titles, but he never made it to that world title level. And if he did, he wasn't in the title picture for long, and he was a contender for the moment being, but he never won that brass ring up until yesterday. So congratulations to Claudio Castagnoli on becoming the new ROH World Champion. Now that adds to the Blackpool Combat Club's quest to capturing all the titles. Now Bryan Danielson, he's currently injured right now. He's supposed to come back on the next episode of Dynamite versus Daniel Garcia. Should be a good match. That's the only member of the Blackpool Combat Club that doesn't currently hold a belt right now. Claudio Castagnoli is the newest addition to the Blackpool Combat Club. As y'all know, since CM Punk vacated his AEW World title, right now Jon Moxley He's the current interim AEW World Champion. And then you got Wheeler Yuta, who's a ROH Pure Champion. And then now Claudio Castagnoli added another belt to that group by becoming the ROH World Champion. Now that's a elite group right now in pro wrestling, the Blackpool Combat Club. And then the second matchup on the card, we saw a trios tag team title match between Dalton, Castle, and the boys, taking on the defending champions, the Righteous. Now this was a good fast-paced matchup, good action in the match. And we got a new 6-man tag team champions in Dalton, Castle, and the boys. They picked up the win. And I forgot to give y'all my ratings for the opening match between Gresham and Castagnoli. I get that match a 3 out of 5. They did what they did for the time slot that they had, and like I said, it was nothing less than I expected. It was a good wrestling match. And then the second match, I also get that match a 3 out of 5. And then the third matchup on the card was for the ROH Pure title. Wheeler Yuta defending it versus Daniel Garcia. Obviously, Wheeler Yuta representing the Blackpool Combat Club. Then you have Danny Garcia representing the Jericho Appreciation Society. And those two groups been beefing for some time on AEW programming. So it made a lot of sense that Wheeler Yuta put his ROH Pure title on the line versus Daniel Garcia. And both guys are great technical wrestlers, good submission expert wrestlers. And they put on a hell of a show, and it was a great match. Good back and forth action, good pace matchup, and they were countering each other all throughout the match, going hold for hold. And I give this matchup a 3.5 out of 5. We had Wheeler Yuta come out on top, and he retained his ROH Pure title. He got the win via pinfall. He rolled Danny Garcia up, got the 3 count. And yeah, after that, y'all know the Pure rules. The competitors gotta shake each other's hands following the match. But you know, Danny Garcia is playing this heel character, this, you know, stuck up, snobbish, arrogant sports entertainer role. When Wheeler Yuta offered to shake his hand, he, you know, shrugged that to the side and flipped him off and walked out. So I guess, you know, they gonna continue the feud. If y'all saw Dynamite last week, y'all saw that match between Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho. They teased it like it was gonna be the final match between the two, but y'all know how the match went. If y'all did watch the latest episode of Dynamite, you had you know, these two groups go, you know, at it once again, get involved in that match when nobody was supposed to. So I don't know if this feud is going to continue. As far as for the ROH Pure title, it looks like, you know, JAS and Blackpool Combat Club is still going to be continuing their feud. But I don't know if Wheeler Yuta and Danny Garcia is going to be feuding for the ROH Pure title. And then the next matchup on the card was for the ROH was it for the ROH women's title? No, matter of fact, it was a battle of the brothers. It was Dragon Lee versus Roosh. That was a good match. Obviously, they're brothers, so they got a great chemistry with one another, and they put on a hell of a match. And I get that match a 3.5 out of 5 as well. We had Roosh come out on top. It was a lot of false finishes in the match, a good pace for the match. And like I said, you know, nothing less than what wrestling fans expect when you have, you know, two good wrestlers, you know, who came up together. And yeah, they put on a great match. and Roosh got the win after hitting his finishing move. Now I don't know if they gonna continue that angle. Now I don't know if Dragon Lee is going to be showing up on AEW TV more. As y'all know, Roosh he got this feud going on with the Lucha Bros, with him and Idolo. I don't know what they doing with ROH right now. Now this is their second pay-per-view that they put on ever since Tony Khan bought ROH. Now I don't know if ROH is gonna get their own weekly show, and then now like guys like Dalton Castle and the boys, and the Righteous, the Briscoes, and Dragon Lee, Jonathan Gresham. Well, now Jonathan Gresham is being televised more on AEW programs. He don't have a title anymore, so I don't know how that's gonna go. But yeah, I don't know if they're gonna feature more ROH talent on AEW TV, or if ROH is gonna get their own show. That way, more ROH wrestlers get the spotlight on them. But yeah, I don't know what the situation is when it comes to guys like that and guys like I mentioned not too long ago. Anyways, moving along, the next matchup on the card was for the ROH Women's title. Mercedes Martinez defending her ROH Women's title versus Serena Debb. Both expert wrestlers, both very sound wrestlers in the ring, and they put on nothing less than what we expected, a good back and forth matchup. Mercedes Martinez came out on top, retained her ROH Women's title. She made Serena Debb tap out by hitting her finisher hold, and yeah, and they hugged it out after the match. I give that match a 3 out of 5. And then the next matchup on the card was for the ROH TV title, Samoa Joe versus Jay Leto. Now this matchup had the most build going into this pay-per-view. Ever since Samoa Joe made his return to ROH, Jay Leto and Samoa Joe has been feuding. Samoa Joe won the ROH TV title a few months ago on Dynamite when he defeated Minoru Suzuki for the title. And then Jay Leto, he turned heel at the Supercard of Honors, and he's aligned himself with Sanjay Dutt, who is his longtime friend. And then they also added Satnam Singh, who came up under Sanjay Dutt's tutelage, and they got a group going on now, and they've been targeting Samoa Joe and his ROH TV title ever since, and they've had a solid program heading into this event. And I liked how they started this match off. You had Jay Leto make his entrance first. He told Satnam Singh and Sanjay Dutt to go to the back. He could handle this by himself. And as he's walking to the ring, Samoa Joe's music hit, and he comes out, and it shows how personal the feud is. And they get into a brawl, and it looks like Joe's, getting the better of Leto. And then Satnam Singh makes an interference and lays Joe out. And then Jay Leto's pressuring the referee to start the match. Samoa Joe has to get back up on his feet, and he eventually does. The bell rings, and they go back and forth. A gut match between the two. Obviously, these two are going to have a great chemistry. They came up together. Samoa Joe is Jay Leto's mentor, and they're both veterans. And if you're a wrestling fan, you already know how these two guys can perform already. And when Samoa Joe had momentum swinging in his favor, this time instead of Satnam Singh, it's Sanjay Dutt who made the interference, and Jay Leto would hit the lethal injection and go for the pin, but Samoa Joe would kick out, and then Samoa Joe would choke out Jay Leto, forcing him to tap. And Samoa Joe came out on top, retaining his ROH TV title. I give this matchup a 3 out of 5. Then moving on to the main event, we had a 2 out of 3 falls match for the ROH Tag Team titles. FTR versus the Briscoes, number 2, a rematch from their first match at Supercard of Honors. And these two teams are both teams respectively are arguably, depending on who you talk to, arguably the best tag team currently in pro wrestling right now. The Briscoes been doing their thing, ROH Hall of Famers, um, and they've been on Impact doing their thing as well. They've been at the tag team scene. They were tag team champions, I think, very recently, over there on Impact, and then now they made their return to ROH, for Death Before Dishonor. Now, the reason why, I mean, I don't want to get into that, but wrestling fans know, why the Briscoes hasn't been on AEW. AEW didn't decide to sign them for whatever reason. Y'all could go look that up yourselves. I'm sticking to only talking about pro wrestling and staying on that topic, and that's why I said earlier, I don't know like what's going on with like ROH talent that show up only for like ROH events. Now I don't know if the Briscoes are gonna be making more appearances as ROH. You know, this is, like I said, this is their second pay-per-view event ever since joining forces with AEW, if that's the right words to use. I don't know now that, you know, ROH is more of a stable now with AEW, and it looks like it's a franchise that's going to continue, and ROH is going to continue putting out these events as they going to put out more events. Or the talents like the Briscoes, and the Briscoes I would say are probably the most requested talent for wrestling fans, period, that be requesting for them to show up on AEW programming more than any other wrestling talent that came out of ROH. They've been at it for a long time. They've been holding it down for ROH for a long time. They're ROH Hall of Famers. Like, I know this part of the video sounds like, you know, I'm bigging them up, but it's much deserved, right? They would be a huge addition to not only the ROH tag team division, but they would mix in well with the AEW tag team division as well. Like I said, depending on who you talk to, they might be the best, you know, tag team in the world currently active in pro wrestling right now. And anyways, let's get into the, you know, what happened in this match. It was a good back and forth match. The Briscoes got the first pin. They hit their double team move and then got the first pinfall. Then it continued. The match continued. The pace kept going the way it was. Then the second fall, FTR, they hit their double team finisher and got the pin to tie up the score. Then the final pin, FTR got it, and they retained their ROH tag team titles. The finishing spot was I think, was it Jay or Mark Briscoe, but it was Cash Wheeler and one of the Briscoe bros. They fell from the apron of the ring to the table. That was a cool spot. Then Dax Harwood hit his finishing move to get the pinfall for FTR to retain the ROH tag team titles. Then following that match, FTR would go on to cut a promo, showing their respect to the Briscoes for putting on yet another hell of a match. Then FTR started to talk to the fans, connect with them, and show their passion for pro wrestling. Then the Blackpool Combat Club, William Regal and Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta came out to, I guess, applaud FTR. Now, I don't know if they teasing a possible feud between Wheeler Yuta and Castagnoli versus FTR, or will FTR align themselves with the Blackpool Combat Club? Now, other than Samoa Joe and Dalton Castle and the boys and Mercedes Martinez, who are the other ROH champions that's not with the Blackpool Combat Club. Now FTR did their own thing. They're not aligned with Blackpool Combat Club, but I don't know. Is that what they're hinting with the closing out segment to Death Before Dishonor? What do y'all think? Y'all let me know. And to give a rating for this main event between FTR and the Briscoes, I get this match a 4 out of a 5. It was the best matchup on the card. Nothing less than you would expect out of the Briscoes and FTR. And yeah, hopefully we do see more of the Briscoes in the future, not only for exclusive ROH events, but on AEW. They would be a great addition to the tag team division in AEW. And the Briscoes, I say, are the best tag team to come out of ROH. And shit, I'll put them up there with names like Samoa Joe, CM Punk, Jay Leto, Claudio Castagnoli, Bryan Danielson, based on how long and how well they've been holding it down for ROH. And as far as FTR goes, they might be the best tag team in the world currently right now. It's either them or the Usos, but with the current situation that FTR is in, with them holding 3 different titles from 3 different promotions, it's hard to compete against that. They're on a hot streak right now for sure. And putting on matches like these, FTR's producing, great matches. We're seeing some of the finest, some of the best tag team wrestling from them right now. They've been doing their thing, and right now they're getting the shine that they deserve. And yeah, I want to see what the future holds for both tag teams. And yeah, I don't know as far as the Briscoes. Like I said, I heard through the dirt sheet. Can't be believing everything you read on the internet, but according to multiple sources, we're gonna see more of the Briscoes in the future in AEW. Like I said, that would be a great addition to AEW. But I don't know if they're gonna go back to Impact and do their thing over there. But we'll see though. And I get this whole Death Before Dishonor event a 6.5 out of a 10. It was nothing out the ordinary. When you think of a ROH show, you think of classic wrestling and good wrestling matches on the card, and that's what we got. It was nothing less than you would expect from a ROH event. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about Death Before Dishonor 2022 in the comments. Yeah, with that being said, that does it for the review video. Comment, subscribe, share, like, all that good stuff. And I'm going, y'all. Peace.